Umaha ijaje wiwita te miakada te sendua ubli hishtasunda nikashingawa'u. In my culture, women are connected to both the moon and water, and we know that the moon controls tides of water on Earth, right? And that all refers to a woman's fertility. So when a woman's carrying a child, her belly looks like a moon, and it's filled with water. And when children enter from the spirit realm to the physical world, they enter into this world through water. And through that connection, women also have a connection to seeds, because seeds are also creation and life, and a deep love for those seeds, and so much that we were seed keepers. When we plant the seeds within a mound, and so it actually looks like a woman when she's carrying a child. And you think of those mounds as essentially being pregnant, right?
These small mounds would allow the sun to heat those areas up and thaw. And there would be warmer, and they could plant a crop, seeds in there, much earlier than on the flat.
They were growing for their three main crops: corn, beans, and squash. Or in Iowa, they were called the Waduje, the Unyinge, and the Wadwa. In each mound, you're gonna have your corn planted in the very center of the mound. Then as the beans grow, they need a place to climb, so they're going to climb right up the corn stalk. Pumpkin and squash gets really big leaves, so it's going to help shade the ground and help keep moisture in the soil, help keep weeds from growing as well. And then if you've ever felt a pumpkin vine before, you'll find that it's kind of prickly. And that prickle is going to help keep a lot of critters from coming through the garden. So it's helping to protect the other crops.
Women actually carried certain bundles of a particular strain of beans, corn, squash, melons, whatever it is. A woman would be a keeper of that seed bundle. She knew the songs that went with it because we would sing to our plants. She knew how it needed to be cared for. She knew how to nurture it just as you would a baby or a child. And to pass those down, someone would be chosen in that family bloodline that would take on those responsibilities, those songs, someone that you know has a respect.
We had the corn, beans, and squash, and we had sunflowers. We had a lot of different crops, but corn was central.
The original corn, what we call teosinte, was very small cobs, and each kernel had its own husk. So the women who were farming, they were always saving the best seeds, working different traits out and different traits into what they were growing. They started getting the corn so it was bigger and longer cobs, more rows, and eventually you get to what we have today.
There's different colors of corn. There's blue corn and brown and red and white and all these different kinds of corn. But every color of corn had a particular purpose to it.
For the Iowa people, it was typically blue flower corn or white flower corn that the women were growing to eat. There was a red corn that would be used for ceremonies, and speckled corn. The speckled corn is actually white with blue speckles in each of the kernels. Now we think of Indian corn as being multicolored, but that's actually a modern creation. Because what happens to get that is you are cross-pollinating two different varieties of corn. With the tribes having certain colors that they're eating and certain colors that are used for ceremonies, when you have this multicolored ear, you suddenly have something that you can't really use. So that cross-pollinated multicolored corn is really not something the Native Americans would have grown.
When we harvest the corn, the clan comes together, the family comes together. It's a time to laugh, it's a time to sing. When I learned to first harvest corn was with the Meskwaki, it was with their Bear Clan. And I was new to this. I was in college and I had a little spoon and I was getting each kernel of corn out, and one of the kernels of corn flipped onto the ground. And my friend was like, oh, she was like, Grandma, she had corn touch the ground. And so her grandmother went into a story about how I made the corn cry. And the reason that that story is so important is because it teaches us the love for each kernel of corn. Each kernel gives its life to us so that we can live.
Men, we were the protectors, but women were the core. They were the ones who decided who farmed on what patch. They were the ones who decided when to plant. They were the ones who decided how things would be shared, all that. So you cannot look at agriculture in Native American society without seeing women as central to it.
We didn't have land ownership like you view ownership today, but the plots and the seeds belonged to women essentially.